Hello, thank you for joining me today. Today I fastened down this A3 piece of acrylic paper to a board, and I'm going to just draw some curved shapes with this piece of curved glass, which is actually the front of an old clock. I keep all sorts of things for drawing around. You never know what might be handy. And I'm just using a black Posca pen just to do some lines. I want to keep those lines, just deciding where to put them. I've just drawn the 3 arcs and now using a gold Posca pen, just adding in some very flowing sort of horizon lines. I'm going straight in now with a transparent burnt umber just to create this lovely line. Beautiful colour. This is a Liquitex ink, straight from the bottle using the pipette. Just takes a little bit of nerve just to follow that line, but it doesn't matter because now I'm going to wet it just with clean water. Just catch that beautiful colour. It's like a chestnut brown, it's beautiful. I'm going to use a very limited palette again today, keeping it all nice and soft and harmonious. Let's go beneath that line at that point. A soft brush is best for this. If you try to use one that's too stiff bristles, it will just pull the ink into very scratchy shapes. So adding a little more water, I'm just pulling it even further, both sides. Just letting it flow. We'll take that to a little bit of a point, and we'll just take that right the way up. Next, I'm going in with one of my favourites. This is Indigo. Now, the pipette's had a little bit of a problem. It's getting a bit tired, so it just drops it in a little bit heavier than I would like. But just again using this is a wet filbert brush, dropped a little more water, and just tilting it to let it flow. The brown and the blue together are so beautiful. Now I'm using a liner brush or rigger brush just to pull some of that ink right the way up. This is so soothing to do, and it's so relaxing watching the colours change as you pull them out. Just going very, very freely, very loosely. I'm not worrying too much about what's happening where. We can play about with this. The beauty with the acrylic inks is that once they're dry, we can go over the top with other colours and it won't disturb that first layer. Now, a change of colour here. I'm going to go in along that arc with a beautiful sap green. Just adding it into a few little places. Again, straight from the pipette, I'm going to cross that brown. And let's just extend that a little bit further up. And now I'm just going to spritz that with a pen spray. And just see that beautiful colour emerge. And then we'll pull that around that arc. It's not absolutely exact, but it's enough. Let's soften it out a little and make that sort of a shape. As we pull it through the brown, that's made a lovely little line there. And then we'll pull that. It's just a beautiful green. It's one of the few greens that's actually a very nice colour. I tend to find a lot of paint, the greens are very unnatural. They go so well with these colours. Now I'm dropping in a little bit of gold, lovely iridescent gold. This is still a Liquitex, it's a beautiful shade. This will give us a lovely bit of shimmer and shine. Next to the dark colours, it just really pops, it's beautiful. And then we'll use that liner brush again. You see how fine the liner brush goes when it's wet? This is why they were used to paint rigging on paintings of ships, and hence the name the rigger brush. Pulling that gold into some of the other colours. I'll pull that out a little bit. It's very calming, very peaceful, very gentle actually. Just pull a little line there. Okay, so this is actually dried now, and I've decided I'm going to add in a few more lines, a few more curves. So I'm going to put a darker one here, and again it's the Posca pens. just to balance out, and a little bit over this side as well. I'm actually using a white Posca pen. I know that sounds ridiculous on white paper, but where it's actually crossing the colour on the other lines, you can actually see the white. And I'm going to use that now that it's dry as another arc shape. So I'm just wetting that with clean water, and then I'm just going to drop along that edge line with that beautiful sap green and just see how it flows. I'll soften it down a little and just pull that out. I want that to keep moving. I don't want a solid edge on that, so I'll just keep wetting it and keep pulling until I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go in over the top of that green with the beautiful gold, just a little. I don't want it too much, just a little hint. And we'll put some gold up here because I want that gold to spread around the top part of that arc now. So I'm putting quite a lot of the ink straight from the bottle. And what I'm going to do now is wet that as well. So again, just clean water, just tap water. And I'm just going to encourage it to move outwards, soften that edge a little. I can always add a little more in, but I want it to start moving out. So let's tip it up, add a little bit more water and help it to move. The pearlescent inks don't move as easily because they've got pigments in which are a little bit thicker. So they just take a little bit more encouragement. Yeah, we drop a little bit more intensity around that curve and just keep tickling it out into that water until we're happy. Lovely. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of water along this edge again over the top of the gold. And now I'm going to drop in the transparent, it's actually burnt umber, not sienna. I did say umber to start with. And again, just pulling that out over the tops of those colours. Adding a little bit more just around that arc, just around where the edge of that gold is. Just pull that out. I quite often use the rigger, the liner brush, for doing this work because it's very delicate. It pulls them into very interesting shapes. I'm just going to extend this little bit of arc just down here. I want to add a little bit more blue just into this area. So it's into wet so that it spreads, just softens the end of that sort of area there. And against the brown, it looks beautiful. I'm just going to keep softening it and just until I'm happy with that. Just takes a little bit of practice just to wet it out. Don't be afraid of using a little bit of tissue if it's too heavy or you need a little bit more softness. Let's take you on a little guided tour of this finished picture now. I'm just going to go in and show you some of this lovely shimmer, some of the ways that the inks have merged together, made some beautiful shades. I hope that this will encourage you to try something loose, an abstract form, using structure if you want to with lines, but allowing the inks or paints, whichever you use, to just have fun and make a beautiful painting. As always, thank you so much for watching. Do please let me know if you have a try by yourself, and I will look forward to seeing you again for another project soon. Keep painting. Bye for now.